Hi, my name's Shaun Watkins. Welcome to the Sportfish Spring Spectacular. Today I'm going to show you how I would fish a small river for trout and grayling. Let's get down to the river and I'll show you some of the tackle we'll be using today.
According to our investigators,
I'll be using a dedicated dry fly rod, which is a 4-weight, and a dedicated nymphing rod, which is a 2-weight. The length of the rods, this is a 10-8 for the nymph, slightly better reach, and the dry fly is a 9-foot. I prefer changing quite quickly from dry fly to nymph or nymph to dry fly as the situation goes through the day. You could use a single rod, say a 10-foot rod, for the dry fly and the nymph, just to have a spare reel on you for quick changeover. The reels I'm using are Vivarellis competition reels, but any reel will do. Basically all it's doing is holding the line. This has hardly any drag. I don't use a drag on my reel. I palm it on the spool and on the line if I've got a big fish on. The setup for the dry fly is a tapered leader off a 3-weight line. I underrate my line 1 rate on the dry fly just to achieve better presentation. On a 12-foot tapered leader, I cut off the end 1.5 foot, so it's about 10.5 feet, and then tie on a very small tippet ring. The tippet, off the tippet ring, I use 10 feet of parallel copolymer. The weight I use for that is 2.5 pounds. The reason for such a long parallel section on the final tippet on the dry fly is 2 things really, 2 main things. The dry fly will collapse better and give you a lot better presentation through the drift. And if you get a big fish hit you on the dry fly and you're using very light tippet, with a 5-foot or a 4-foot tippet off the tippet ring, you've got more chance of being cracked off. When you've got 10 feet, you've got more rebound, more stretch. My nymphing rod, I've got a fly line on there, but onto my fly line, I put parallel 7-pound tippet copolymer, and then I spool on 4 rod lengths. On the end of that, I put a sighter, which is 18 inches, 19 inches maybe. Some prefer green, red, white and black, whatever you prefer. There's so many on the market. Off the sighter, I fish 5 feet to the first dropper and then 3 feet to my point fly. Generally a 2-fly setup for river fishing, but you can go to 3 if you want, or you can go to 1. The breaking strain, I'd start at 3 pound and then go up to maybe 4 pound. When you're going into above 4 pounds, you're handicapping yourself with presentation. Looking at fly choice, we'll be mostly trying to imitate caddis or olive. I like a pheasant tail nymph, very small one, and a olive perdigon. For the caddis, I like something with a little bit of red in it, a Frenchie with a green thorax on it. For the dries, we're going to be using a elk hair with CDC wound body for the caddis. And for the olive, my preferred choice is a CDC wing looking forward with a squirrel thorax and a olive Polish nymph rib on it. Those patterns really will catch you fish any time of the year, even winter. when you'll get a large dark olive hatch. Keep it simple. Caddis pattern on the point and pheasant tail on the dropper, and then you're covering the olive and the caddis, and vice versa. For the dry fly, use a single dry. Try not to overcomplicate it. That's my preferred method, single dry every time. Using the equipment we're using today, the tackle, it's time to catch some fish. Let's get on the river.
According to our investigative,
We're in Penillow Pool. We're in the tail of the fast run. We should be approaching where the fish generally hold in a second, but we're just fishing the tail out of it first. They're just prospecting across the river. My fly weight is 3 mil on the point and 2.5 on the dropper, which is just about getting to where it needs to. The flow is generally right through the middle. It's bedrock each side, and the fish are concentrated generally on the far side of the bedrock. We'll keep fishing up and then see how we get on. We might go one weight heavier just through this next bit. Now we had a 3 mil on, we're going 3.5. We've got a fast current in front of us. Just try and get the fly a little tiny bit deeper, slower presentation. You can tell by the speed that the nymph was going through, it was a little bit too fast. So we'll slow it down a little tiny bit more weight. I'll help slow us down. Try that.
according to our investigative.
Well, that's first fish of the day. Hopefully we get a few more. A little baby brownie. We're putting back a lovely little fish.
According to our investigative.
We worked our way up to this point, and it's the second fish of the day. He's taken the point fly. Nice grayling. Yeah, lovely grayling. Working our way up now. We're going to stay with the bugging rod. There's olives coming off, just starting to trickle off now, but there's nothing really coming up on top. So we're going to fish this pool in front of me and see how we get on with the bugs, and then hopefully move upstream. We'll go up to the junction and see how we get on with the dries from lunchtime onwards. Fish on, small fish. Oh, and off. With this pool, you're probably better splitting it up and working the way across. Fish very close to start with, and then increase your line as you're going across the pool, and you can cover the water and just prospecting with the bugs. Fish can be lying anywhere in this pool, depending on the river height. A fish right under my feet. Nice grayling. This piece of water we got in front of us is the junction pool. River to the right is the Wye, and the river to the left is the Elan. Right, let's have a look, see what we got here. Start close, very close as well. Almost you're on the end of your rod tip. Try and keep your sighter off the water at all times. They're even on the cast, so when you're casting, you're sinking your flies into the run and then bringing your sighter back down into position. And try not to cast and let the sighter hit the water. When you're casting a long way away, when I'll show you in a minute, that you're inevitable, you will, but try and be as delicate and finesse on the sighter as you can. They can see they'd have 2 points with the 2 flies going in, and then you're giving them a fish 3 points to look at, because if your sighter slaps the water, you get the fish two with the bugs and 1 with the sighter. So the more you can keep it off, the more fish you'll get. And work your way across the run, all the good water. More vertical with the sighter in the deeper drop off, the plunge part of it, and then narrow your angle down as you're fishing the skinnier water, and then bring the rod up using your left hand as your control for your or your sighter position going through the run. And then where we might have a fish is where it's getting a little bit of the Wye water mixing with the Elan water, which is farther over. Bit of a jig and he's on. He responded to a jig then, he did. They're getting bigger. The Wye on the right and the Elan on the left will prospect the dry fly and see if we can get a trout on the shallows and maybe a grayling on the slightly deeper water. There's a little bit warmer water coming in from the Y might help us on for the trout front. Fishing very close to start with. Oh yeah. See how close that fish was? They notorious for drowning the fly, not actually taking it in their mouths. They come up, these grayling, and roll on the fly. And you think you're missing the fly, the hook up, and the fish hasn't, he's just gone straight on top of it. As that last one did. The pool you see in front of you has got multiple currents, pockets, little back-headed streams, slack water and runs, and the prospecting with the dry can pay dividends on just fishing everything. Even if you think there's no way as a fish are going to be in that depth water, you get they do surprise you where the places they like to sit. They'll take advantage of every little back eddy and current, anything that they think they can not waste too much energy but still have the food being ferried to them very quickly. I've gone through this across here quite thoroughly now. I'll just have a couple of casts farther upstream. Yes, there he is, and there he is in a little pocket. Yeah, another brown trout. I'll lamb this fish here if I can. Skid him along. As long as his head's up, you got him. Lovely. The river we're going up now is the Y, dedicated Y. It's a lot smaller river, more intricate. You've got a little bit of everything. You've got riffles, drop-offs, plunge pools, little flat glides for the dry fly, and as you'll see when we go up, there's a lot of different water, very compacted, so there'll be different things we're doing as we go up through the river. The pocket water, for example, is can be very fruitful for the trout, and the slower, deeper glides, we might even get some nice grayling up there, but fingers crossed, we'll see what we can do. Nice little bit of a pool in front of us, got one good central pocket, and but we'll run the dry over it. We've got river right, so it's right hand shoulder for presentation. So the downstream wind's helping us now to push the fly back, so the first thing they see is the fly rather than the leader and the line. We'll stop the fly a little bit high so it gets a chance to come down and be ahead of everything. Oh, good fish, big fish, big fish. We're into a good brown, big brown. Get him on the reel. Not too heavy on him. Yeah, he's not ready yet. Tippet's only 0.10, very fine. So we'll be gentle with him. No belt, no belt. In the bag. Well done, Bill. He's no monster, but he's our best today.
According to our investigator. According to our investigator.
Just taking a little break from the fishing to give you my 3 top tips for small rivers. My first tip, and the most important I think, would be balancing your kit with the right tippet for the right weight nymphs you're using. Don't go overboard on your tippet. If you're fishing little perdigons, they impact on the presentation that you're going to get from your drift. Same on the dry fly. You're fishing tiny little dries, go down on your tippet. Really, you go down 2 pound, pound and 3/4. You've got tiny little flies on. Balance your equipment for what you've got, what you're fishing in front of you. My second tip would be on the nymphing rod is don't go too heavy through the runs. Go through with 2 small flies, whatever you think. Go a little bit lighter and go through the run and just see what happens. There's a lot of fish you'll miss otherwise. You go straight in with heavy tungsten, fishing deep, and there can be fish up in the column. Fish light, small flies through the runs. You won't feel bottom, but anything you contact with generally is going to be a fish then, and it puts you quicker on your game for a lift, for a strike. My third top tip would be presentation of your dry fly sitting on the water. You've had a few casts, there's a fish rising constantly in front of you, and your first few drifts weren't good, but your dry fly was dry. If you constantly keep casting, that CDC will be picking water up, and then you might get a good drift when you needed that dry fly to be dry. You need to get the fly right and the drift right, and results will come in. That brings us to the end of the video. We've had a fantastic day and with a few fish. I hope you've enjoyed it and maybe learned something new, and it's inspired you to get out and fish the small rivers which are so enjoyable. Tight lines, and hope to see you on the bank soon.